Warning: the following context may include scary sequences of light horror and many thrills. Some gruesome descriptions involving children may be present in some chapters. Some material may be unsettling to certain audiences. But don't worry, everything will be okay. Probably. Chapter 16, The Old Scarecrow, Dixie's Perspective. Okay, so the map says the Scarecrow field should be just over this hill, Connor tells me, pointing towards the hill we're about to attempt. Even after a night's rest in a safe place and good food, my body still aches and cries for my bed. Sounds good, I say, trying not to sound so out of breath. We've been walking for nearly 2 hours. The sky is becoming more gray than blue. However, there aren't many clouds. So, what's the item we're looking for? I ask, realizing I should know this. The book said it should be a wooden chest with gold trim, he answers, still 3 steps ahead of me. A chest, I repeat. How big is that? His shoulders scrunch. I'm not sure. Connor turns to look back at me. I sure hope it's not very big now that you mention it. Do you think we'll be running from anything again? I ask sarcastically, hoping we don't have to. He looks at me with a, "Why would you ask that?" expression. Sorry, I say, looking at the ground as my lips form a straight line. We make it up the grassy hill and the trail and stop. The sight is horrifying. An eerie gray engulfs the sky, casting shadowy gloom upon the dried-out corn stalks. In every part of this land, the corn stalks were green and strong. Here they are brown, bristly, and slanted ever so slightly to the left, causing the entire field to feel as though it was slipping. From the corner of my eye, I see Connor look at me. He must be feeling the same prickles down his back as I feel. Taking a deep breath, I look back at him and give an unconvincing smile. He shakes his head and starts walking forward. There are no trails in this field, so we hold our hands over our eyes to avoid cuts on our faces from the leaves, but still keeping our fingers cracked in order to see where we're going. Not knowing the size of the chest does not help me know where I should be looking. I try scanning the ground while still looking out for a larger object in the distance. The field is several acres, so I'm just wishing upon a star that one of us will happen to trip over it. Any luck? Connor says under gritted teeth. Nope, I reply with just as much exhaustion. Just then, I trip over something and fall, face-planting into a patch of thick mud. Yeesh, Connor says, crouching down to help me up. Couldn't have waited for at least the second stop? Wiping the goo off my face, I give him a hard glare. His hands fly up. I'm sorry, I was just kidding. Are you okay? Yeah, I think so. I spit out grainy mud and see what I tripped over. I guess shooting stars do hear you even during the day. Is that it? I squeal, lifting the medium-sized chest from the ground. It takes a good tug since it's been sitting in the mud for who knows how long. No way! Connor jumps to his feet. Let's go! I stand up, the chest in my hands. We look around and realize we don't know which way is out. All of our footprints have molded into the natural texture of the ground, leaving no path behind. Well, Connor takes a deep breath, all fields have to end at some point, right? Should we just pick a direction and go straight until we reach the end? As much as I don't like the idea of not knowing where we'll be, it may be our best bet, so I agree to go along with his plan. We walk for what feels like 30 minutes, but when I'm impatient, it's hard to tell how long it's really been. A sudden gush of wind tangles my hair into a mess. Rats! I yelled, dropping the chest for a moment to get the hair out of my mouth. Connor turns around and busts up laughing when he sees the condition of my head. Rats is right, he says, still grinning. Thanks, I say. Thanks so much. His laughter continues, but a new sound breaks through the field. A slow wooden fall, as if a tree was falling, then a big bang. Connor and I freeze. He steps in front of me, holding my hand, listening closely. A couple crows fly from the stalks, cawing so loudly my ears ring. Brushing of hay and scraping of wood on old metal clink and click. Connor, I whisper, but he turns quickly to cover my mouth. Shaking his head, he mouths the word no to me. His eyes show that he's just as scared as I am. With each crack of the corn stalks shifting to whatever is making that noise, my jaw tightens even more, as though it was being screwed together. Connor bends down slowly and silently, lifts the chest from the ground, then stops. Although his body isn't moving, I can see his chest tighten. He's staring at something, maybe something the leaves at the top of the stalks block. I want to ask him what he sees, but I'm scared to move or speak or even breathe at this point. So I squeeze his hand once, hoping he might snap out of it. His head turns to look at me inch by inch. Pure horror plasters his face. "Run," he breathes out, then jumps to his feet and yanks me forward. My feet move faster than my thoughts can keep up. The corn stalks slice and slap my face and arms. "Ah!" I yell, still holding tightly to Connor's hand. The crack and brushing sound grows louder, this time accompanied by heavy breathing. For a moment I thought the heavy breathing was Connor's, but now I hear the growl and the breath. "Keep going," Connor shouts. "We can make it." Although every bone in my body tells me not to look back, I can't help myself. And oh, how I wish I had listened to every bone. A 6-foot-tall scarecrow with arms reaching the ground charges at us. Molded hay and rotted wood makes its body and arms, while its face is that of a lifeless man. A thick red stream of blood drips down its face, staining the straw of its body. I scream, all air leaving my chest. "Oh my God!" I cry, running faster than I knew was possible. Pulling Connor behind me, I jump over rocks and duck under leaves. My heart pounds so loudly I can hardly hear the grimacing panting of the scarecrow. "Not today, Satan!" I shout. "Not today!" Looking back, I see Connor holding the chest as though it were a football, hurdling all the obstacles just as I do. Then I make eye contact with it. Its face may appear lifeless, but its eyes are not. They are pitch black, deep, and evil. "Keep going!" Connor yells at me. "Move!" I hadn't realized how much I'd slow down. "Sorry," I say, regaining my speed, but it's too late. Connor and I are flung into the air, tossed into the corn. I hear several cracks as we hit the ground. I'm not sure all of them were from the corn stalks breaking. Connor yells a few feet from me. I can see he's curled up into a ball, rocking back and forth, holding his hand. "Connor!" I cry, but then get pinned to my back. Standing above me is the gurgling, blood-soaked scarecrow, staring into my eyes. Pinning me down with both arms, it leans forward until its face is just inches from mine. I try to tug, run, budge, but there's no use. "I believe you have something of mine," it says in a heavy, huffy voice. "I don't like it when my things are stolen." It can talk? This monster scarecrow can talk? My face shakes so hard it makes my vision blurry. My teeth grit together until they feel like they might break. "Do you know what happens to those who steal from me?" it says, looking to its left, and I follow its gaze where a pile of bones and a skull lays in the mud. I'm too scared to swallow the spit welling in my mouth. Looking further into the distance, I see now that there are bones and skulls scattered throughout the field. I guess the cracking noises weren't just the corn. I look back at the scarecrow, fear consuming my whole being. A single tear drips down my cheek. The scarecrow widens its mouth, displaying its many rows of blade-like teeth. I finally let out a deep breath and close my eyes. I don't need to watch this part. Chapter 17. I hate spiders. Danny's perspective. Tune in tomorrow.